Hello and welcome back to the Nordic Takedown. You're listening to episode 78, and today it's going to be a bit more about twin sons. And with me, of course, I need our twin son specialist. Welcome back, Tobias.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's been a long time coming now, so good to have you back. And of course, I have a co-caster with me today, or co-host, that is Viktor.
Hello.
How are you?
Oh, I'm fine.
Yeah, and it's not unusual for me to call you co-caster because you're always around helping out streams and all that stuff.
Yeah,
So
I'm a busy caster.
yeah, that's really cool. As I said, today is going to be about Twin Sons. We plan to cover a bit what's going on with Legends of the Force, kind of revisit the format, and kind of bridge us over to another format that's been getting some attention lately, which is limited. We now have these competitive limited events, PQs. That's there's been a couple, not that many yet, right?
Yes,
So
two so far, I think.
yeah, so that is cool. I guess some people love limited, some are more into Premiere, but it's nice that they give some attention to that side of the game and those passionate players too. So first and foremost, Cantina catch up. What's been going on, Tobias? We haven't had you on for a long time, but have you been playing any Star Wars?
Yeah, no, it's been fun. I think I was on just before Set 4 dropped, and we talked about like the switch to 80 card stick and stuff like that. But yeah, I've
Yeah,
been playing some games. I played one PQ that was during Set 3. I played one of the Manatorsk events.
yeah,
Um, Then I had a break during the spring, a lot of work, a lot of stuff happening, and then managed to get to a pre-release, which was super fun for the new sets, and then again break during the
yeah,
summer, and then I came back
yeah.
just like a couple of weeks ago, trying to get in the set, realized that I missed the Galactics, but that was fun. Fine, I play all the cool decks that came out of the Galactus. So like I've
Yeah,
been able to go to 4 locals playing Premiere, playing 4 different
yeah.
decks, 4 different
Nice.
red blue decks. So I'm not
Okay.
strafing too far away from my comfort zone, but I
Yeah.
played some Talsin, I played the Kylo deck, I played Yoda, and I played my usual Anakin deck that I played since set 3. So
Nice.
it's been
Yeah.
fun.
Cool.
And played a lot of Twin Suns. I made sure to play a lot of Twin Suns. It's kind of like the
Yeah.
main reason I go. I play Premiere because everybody else does it, but I'm there for the Twin Suns games.
Yeah. That's nice. Every community needs one of those people, I think. Get people to stick around a bit more for some casual twin sons.
Yeah,
Would be nice.
it's been fun. You can see that like the last couple of months, people have started to adopt the format a bit more. So like when we
Okay.
come to like a Twin Suns, when we like before the local event or after the locals, depending on like what the time it is, like I
Yeah.
usually take out my box of decks and then ask, okay, does someone need a deck? And like more and more people have their own Twin Suns deck, so
Nice.
that's good. And yeah, so it's
Yeah.
fun. I do like to see people like having their own decks and like really you can see
Yeah.
the joy of playing a deck you built. So yeah, it's fun.
Yeah. And there's something about building a Twin Suns deck that's just so nice and kind of forgiving and chill because it's not about building the best deck. It's not supposed to be a meta deck and all this. It's just you expressing yourself. It can be budget. Like it's gonna be a great time pretty much regardless, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like it's so good. Like yeah, people in my local area, they know I don't have that many cards. Like the 4 decks I played the last 4 weeks, I borrowed all of them because I don't have the cards. So I borrowed decks from people to play them during the premiere events. But then I have enough cards to build Twin Suns decks because you just need a copy
Yeah.
of something. And like if you have a fun legendary, throw it in there. If you don't have it, it's 1 in 80 cards. Like it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Just run
Yeah.
off something else. So yeah, it's good. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's been awesome.
I'm really, really looking forward to sitting down with my collection and putting together. So I actually have 4 Twin Suns decks at home, because I feel like that's just a nice way, kind of, to play Stars Unlimited casual on the kitchen table.
Yeah,
And especially because I got the Twin Suns playmat from Lil, so I need to I need to get it
cool,
to the table
cool.
more often.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
that's cool.
All right, Victor, what have you been up to?
Well, since last I was on, I haven't done much else. I've been testing a lot for Malmö and the PQs coming up. And also, this weekend, I was part of the cast for the Chicago PQ, which was a sealed PQ, which
Cool.
sorry, a limited PQ, which was
Yeah.
really cool to be part of that cast. I think we learned a lot about how to try and get something like that properly casted, but also it was really refreshing commentating on limited games as opposed
Yeah.
to premier games, because you get to see so many more cards, and we'll talk more about that later, but it was really cool.
That sounds like a blast. It
It
can
really
get
was.
a bit stale when you kind of know the meta and you see a deck. Okay, you know basically all of the cards in it, but limited, you can really get a lot of different stuff, even though it's just from the same set. But there can be a lot of variance in those pods. Um, for me, I have been to local, playing a bit Premier with the deck I'm planning to bring to Malmö. Um, don't feel that comfortable, but that's okay. If I go O2 or something, I'll just drop and cast. So we'll see. No, but it's gonna be fun. I'm just looking forward to meeting everyone, honestly. Like, that's the best part of these bigger events, that you get to meet so many nice people.
Yeah, I
So
think Malmö Game Week has that sort of huge pull for the whole Scandinavian area. Like it's the one event that brings people from Norway, Sweden, and Denmark together more than any other event
yeah,
right now. So it's going to be great seeing everyone
and
again.
yeah, it's so cool that it's going to be the biggest we've had
Yeah,
in Scandinavia, in terms of participants, in terms of prize pool, in terms of it's a 2 day
yeah, anything.
event.
Yeah,
Like, it's gonna be so cool. And the playmats, I've seen some sneak pics of they're actually printed now. So if you haven't got your tickets, it's the only way you can get this exclusive playmat. So really excited for that as well.
yeah, they are really nice.
All right then. So let's move on to Twin Sons. First of all, we've gotten a lot of new cards, which is nice when you're building a singleton type of deck. So, is there anything different about the format right now with 5 sets in?
I think it's kind of like it's kind of realizing itself. Like it's becoming the format they built. When you listen to the early interviews with the developers, the people that created the Twin Suns deck, they joined when they were developing set 5 and 6. So like
Yeah,
when set 5 and 6 were in development, those people joined and started to create like what is Twin Suns supposed to be. So like they built the Twin Suns at the same time these cards were played or developed. Like
yeah,
these were the cards that they were building Twin Suns rules from. So you can really feel that there is a lot of stuff to do in Twin Suns. Um,
yeah,
like with the added, like when you add 16 leaders in every set, there's a lot
yeah,
more stuff. Um,
yeah,
I don't think that like the force mechanic itself is like the biggest thing in Twin Suns. I have one deck that runs it, and it's a fun deck, but it's not the most fun. It's not the strongest. It's not like it's just a deck that uses the force. But
yeah,
but I do think that there's a lot of other cards in the set that helps it out. Like none of the like huge game breaking cards or anything like that, but there's a lot of like small cards that like just boost stuff here and there,
yeah.
which is
Yeah,
That's cool.
I feel set five in some ways filled out a lot of gaps in the especially in the tribal areas, like with traits. There were lots of traits that had been very underserved that actually got a little bit of a boost in this set that I hadn't realized before I started looking at Twin Suns decks, that I hadn't realized they were going to get cards in this set, and they did, like, improve on some of the neglected traits. And I think that's going to go even further in the next set, maybe. So with a bit of luck, because I think Twin Suns really thrives when you're working with tribal and
Yeah,
key traits to sort of build thematical
yeah,
things.
that's super fun.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff like small stuff, like one of the cards, like the secretive sage that everybody's running in Premiere, like it's everywhere. Like I said, I played 4 different red blue decks and all of them runs it, like, because it's a good card. But
Yeah,
in Twin Suns, I play it in a lot of decks. Like one of the decks I had since set one, it's like slots right in because it's a 2/2 shielded. I don't care if that it sets force on it, because it's not a deck that uses the force, but it's
yeah,
just one more of these. So you can, depending on, like, if you're running red and yellow and blue and hero, you can run 3/2 shielded turn one plays. So you
yeah,
can now you can kind of like build a deck where, like, okay, turn one I want to play a 2/2 shielded. Like you're almost getting there, not quite, but like with three of them in the deck, it, like, I look them at, like, yeah, you're getting there, at least closer to it.
yeah.
Um,
That's cool.
so there are, like, it's starting to fill out, so you can have some options. Um, there are more cards, so you can, like, okay, this card and these two other cards are kind of the same card, so you can, like, now get like a couple of copies of the same effect, and not like, okay, I have a one-off of this effect and then nothing else in the deck does anything similar. So you can never, like,
Yeah,
rely on that ability.
Yeah, I mean the concept of Twin Suns seems to be um, trying to avoid getting too high consistency in your decks. It's like they've specifically made the rules so that it will be hard to build decks that are extremely consistent. But now we're starting to get to a place where we have some consistency, and to have no consistency at all is it's just not that fun. And to have too much consistency, well, then it gets a little bit too competitive, I think. And I think they're closing in on that sweet spot where, what you like you talk about, you can get some kinds of effects you can get, but you can't get the really strong broken effects to always pop off.
Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
Exactly. So
I
no,
feel
I do
like,
think it's good. It's fun.
yeah, like it decks are bound to get better the more cards we get, right, in a singleton format. You get access to more options and you can really like pick out the best cards from each set. But it's exciting to see where you can go, and especially as you mentioned, Victor, because it's a casual format, sometimes it's more important that you have fun cards to play than powerful. So that we see more cards that are really interesting in the Twin Suns format, like the impropriety among thieves cards that switches units around, or tribal stuff that people, okay, they can finally make a droid deck or whatever,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
cool.
Like one of the cards that were on the FFG stream from last week, they played a Nalasay deck with, like, you have a clone tribal. You're playing villainy and
Yeah,
then clone tribal, which is a super fun deck. And then just it got the Cypher Diaz card from this set where, like, you can find a clone when it dies. It's just like,
yeah,
it's just one more piece to, like, having a deck that is like, this is the clone tribal. And
yeah,
like that card Cypher Diaz, like, you'd never see that in Premier play. And especially, like, okay, you find a clone, but there aren't that many clones in the set. So, but it really works in, like, going back to Nalasay and, like, building a clone tribal,
yeah,
and stuff like that. So they're all, like, they're filling in small pieces of the decks where you want to build them. So there are more and more decks that are becoming viable, or, like,
Yeah.
they've always been viable as you can play them, but, like, they're becoming more that you can feel that all the 80 cards are what you want them to be. You can play out a scene of this of a series, or you can play like, okay, this is my
Yeah.
whatever deck, like, so you can do different thematic stuff. It doesn't have to be a typo. It can also be like, okay, no, this is my Andor deck, or this could be my
Yeah.
whatever. Like, you can build stuff like that.
That's so cool. Like when you talked about Nalase and stuff for the S, I thought, of course, it's genius because when they're making cards, they're basing like stuff on the Star Wars lore, right? So
Yeah,
similar things might have similar lore, and therefore that they work together make complete sense. So you both have cards that work together and are thematic together. So it's kind of the ultimate fan service almost
Yeah.
that you can do this.
Yeah, no, and that's something that takes a little bit. Like you need a certain, like a critical mass of cards that work together in that way to be able to with some consistency see those things play out in a deck. That's probably why there were 60 card decks originally, because they didn't have enough cards, so these things didn't really play out, and you want them to sometimes play out at least.
yeah,
Now we have enough cards to play with 80 cards and build these sort of thematical things with where the cards synergize, as well as sort of build paint a picture, or have a lore together. I really like that. Also, something I really appreciate with this format is the negotiation, like the table talk things. So all the mechanics that makes me be able to negotiate with my opponents, and sort of give away things. I love in Twin Suns to play with bounties, of course, but cards like Wado that allows me to give my opponents things, and you can, like, if you let me do this and you give me this, and I can put the experience on that one, so you can take out that thing. And this is really where I really think this format shines.
Yeah, that's a really great point because it's a social format, right? So the more tools you get to actually be social, it can enable those really cool conversations and interactions.
Yeah.
yeah,
So that's
definitely.
really
And
nice.
you can also see that, like, when a group is playing more Twin Suns, they get better at it. They get better at, like, understanding who's the threat at the table. They are getting better at understanding the late game. Like, it doesn't just happen like, oh, someone won. Like they
Yeah.
start to plan for it a lot more, and then these conversations become a lot more. Instead of someone talking a lot, it becomes like, oh no, I understand what you're saying, so we can do it together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, so
And I
And you
yeah,
think the
learn how to
getting,
use these effects. Like,
yeah.
this card is you play a card not because you need it now, but because it's going to be an interesting card in a later part of the game. This might be the card that enables me to help you take out the threat so that we can go another round.
yeah, exactly.
I think also when you said like getting better at playing Twin Suns, I also thought of another way, and that's actually like figuring out what's fun. Because it's not always about like being better at winning the game, but figuring out with the group how do we enjoy playing the game
Yeah,
and kind of what dynamic works with our table, like what's fun, how we target people, how we negotiate, and all of, because it is a social thing, right? That's, it can be kind of anticlimactic if you play and then suddenly somebody just won and you feel like, oh, I didn't get to do anything, or, and then maybe your experience wasn't that good. But if you play with the same group a couple times, you kind of, I think you'll build a feel for what's fun.
yeah, exactly. What we have realized is that we need to declare when we start that is everybody loses except one, which is that is like, I know that's what the rule says, but a lot of people comes in and it's like, oh, but if I kill you and then I don't win, I still kill you. So like you get like a semi win, but at the same
Yeah.
time we need to realize that, okay, I lost and you lost. It doesn't matter if you kill me or not, you still lost. And
Yeah.
if everybody doesn't agree that if you lose, you lose, the format doesn't really work, because then king making becomes too easy, and stuff
Yeah.
like that. So like everybody always needs to be like, okay, if I do this, I won't win, so I can't do it. Like
Yeah.
at least that's what had been working for us.
Yeah.
Um, because there is no runner up. Either you win or you lose.
Yeah.
And then the format becomes really fun because then it's really hard to win.
Yeah,
And
you need to
especially
actually figure out like tricky ways to
yeah,
sneak in a
yeah,
win.
and then you really feel that if you make it happen, you it's super fun. So
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah,
that sounds
But
really cool.
I think also something that I've realized over playing quite a lot lately is that if you focus too much on the very last part of it, might get that when the group gets to the spot where you can actually start stopping the win, and it doesn't just come from nowhere. You start reading it and you start holding the win back for a bit. Eventually someone is going to win, and if you focus too much on like who actually won and not, you might feel they might get to a feel bad moment, because it is a bit of a whack-a-mole situation.
yeah,
Yeah.
But if you just stop for a bit and think like it was really fun doing the whack-a-moling,
yeah,
that's where it's at. If you have fun while you try and stop everyone, and of course someone's going to win, but if you're just going to focus on being angry that eventually he did that mistake so that the person won,
Yeah.
well, don't play Twin Sons.
no,
Play
of course,
something else.
yeah, that's a great
Like
point.
you got to have fun while you're doing it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're in the wrong spot.
Yeah,
And I
and
feel like that's also why deck building is so different. You
Mhm.
have to put in cards that are fun to play because that might be your highlight of the game. Like it's not gonna be fun to just sit there and play like, okay, Village Protector, Ezra. It would be way cooler to I'll play a big thing, do this and that, slam a dark saber on my leader, something that's gonna kind of give you a dopamine kick.
Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely,
No, exactly.
absolutely.
Like have playing fun cards, exactly like you said earlier. The impropriety among thieves, like just throwing cards around the table. Everybody just switches everything. Cards like Final Showdown, where like everybody's like, "Oh no, the game is over." Then all of a sudden you're ready, everything you have, and then it's like, "Oh crap, he has one more round of units to use." So what
Yeah.
happens now? And then someone kills a unit. Like we had that happen in a game last week where someone like, okay, I win if I do this, but I could play Final Showdown, and they like calculated that we didn't have anything on board, so he played Final Showdown. I looked at my hand and like, oh crap, I can't win, I can't stop him, because like I didn't have anything good. I had like a P-38 Starfighter, and played Chancellor Palpatine. He was on the villain side, which was good, and then I was like, wait, it took me like a couple of minutes to realize, but then I saw that his Han leader was on 5 damage with only 1 HP left. So I was like, I can kill it. Sure, it's ready, but it's dead now. And then he lost the game instead because he was like, "Oh, I have lethal. You don't have any ready units." And I was like, "Yeah, but I have 1 damage." so so like small things like that, and that was like
Yeah.
hilarious. Like like we were laughing, having fun at the table, and just yeah,
Yeah.
it was
Nice.
awesome. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like I've always been a super fan of the smuggle mechanic. So when I build I only have the one Twin Suns deck built, but obviously I'm going to play a Twin Suns deck that's going to do the things I like the most in the game. And I like pilots, but I love smuggle. So I'm playing the space pirates. So I'm playing what's his name, the
Hunter.
pirate Hundo, from set 2, and I'm playing the yellow pilot of
Yeah.
the what's his name,
The guy with 4 arms from the
yeah,
Han
the guy
Solo
with
movie.
exactly.
oh
So
yeah,
I'm playing those two together, and I built a space pirate decks, doing a smuggle card extravaganza, all the smuggle cards that works in the colors, and then we're doing a heist. It's a heist movie when I play,
Nice.
so I'm just having fun, and then yeah, this deck can win. It's not a bad deck. That's not the point. It's I'm getting to do all the mechanics I like in the game, and I get to have fun.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's Rio Durant.
Yeah, Rio. Thank you.
Yeah,
That's
Yeah.
the
no,
guy.
it's awesome. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Like I've been having like I have a couple of decks built. I have at the moment I think I have 7 decks built. Um, but like one of the decks has always been double yellow because I just love the double yellow cards. They're so fun.
Yeah.
And I also have been having really fun with the bounties because they give a goal for the opponents that isn't just killing a base. Because
Yeah.
like if you put a bounty on something and tell them, "Oh, go kill that bounty." So right
Yeah.
at the moment I'm playing, I have a Cad Bane, Jabba the Hutt yellow, so double yellow and Jabba the Hutt to like put bounties and stuff, and then play all the fun double yellow cards, which is
Nice.
yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah.
And it's so fun to play fun decks. Like I also have a Voltron Chirrut deck, which is play Mando and double blue to just exhaust stuff and build a huge Chirrut and lose because they kill your Chirrut, and then you're sad, and then you don't win anyways. But it's fun because you had a huge Chirrut, which is fun. So yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
so
really
yeah,
cool.
it's awesome. There is so much fun stuff you can do.
Yeah. All right. So moving on a bit here, what we want for the future of the format. We talked about a bit what we enjoy right now, but
What's in the cards for this card game?
Yeah, I would really love a group hug leader. That like some type of leader. Like the thing is that I'm not sure how they're gonna fit it in because like it's hard to use it to in Premiere at all, or like even limited is going to be hard.
yeah,
But like a leader whose ability is to give other people stuff.
yeah,
Like sure you can kind of do it with some of the leaders. Like you can have Akbar giving people X-wings, but then if you exhaust their big things, they're still going to be mad at you. So like it's not really that. You can have like
yeah.
an Obi-Wan from set, which is set 3, where you heal other people's
We can heal.
units.
Yeah,
Yeah, so you can have like some stuff that kind of do stuff, but like a real group hug, like where you some type of leader that enables other people's deck to just be better, so they don't want to kill you, and it has to give you something back. So I don't know how it works, but it would be cool.
yeah. Usually it's like you give somebody a little bit, or you give everybody a little bit, and you gain a little bit more. So
Yeah,
you're also
exactly.
incentivized to do it, right? So
Yeah,
like heal everybody's base for 1, and you get to put 2 experience on your units or something.
yeah, something like that. Uh,
I don't think it's unreasonable to think that they will design leaders with Twin Suns in mind in future sets. But I think even if you want to go that far with abilities that are specific almost to Twin Suns, they have opened up a venue with the Battle of
Yeah,
Hoth box, which is basically a standalone box to introduce people to, I guess, the regular format of the game. But you could have the same kind of product where you do like something, but it's a designed box with cards and pre-built decks for Twin Suns with specific leaders that have specific powers for Twin Suns. So that's a venue they could go down, a route they
yeah,
could go
maybe.
to make the format slightly more like
Yeah,
accessible,
yeah,
just hand out.
it's probably going to happen somewhere in the future, and also like a spotlight deck or something like that. You can have a
Mhm.
yeah,
pre-constructed Twin Suns deck.
Yeah,
Um, there
I
are there
wouldn't
are
be
ways to do
surprised.
it, but yeah, that's that type of leader, and also like leaders that are really fun is like global leaders. Like you have the Sabine from set 1, where you like you ping everybody.
Yeah,
It's not it's not like a positive effect, but it's like an interesting effect where everybody gets a piece of the cake. And
yeah,
then
yeah,
something like Chancellor Palpatine, like sure, one side heals you and draws your card, but the other side pings everybody. Like it deals two
mm,
damage to everybody except you. So
yeah,
that is like those type of effects are pretty interesting in Twin Suns because you can affect the board without like targeting a specific person.
yeah,
mhm,
So I do think that cards like that are really interesting.
yeah. That's a design space that is very, very much where they could gear things towards, at least partially towards Twin Sun.
Yeah,
yeah. Cool. So then we know a little bit more how to play Twin Suns, but Could we get some specific tips for a fun game?
Yeah, I do think that for me, like the more clear the games, the board state are, the more fun it becomes, or at least, especially for like newer players, that easier to understand what's happening on the board. So like some stuff that we've been pretty like vocal about, or like not vocal, like, but we've been sure to make sure that everybody understands how we play, is that like we have stopped using putting damage on the base where you have like tokens or dice or whatever, and instead have gone to like a life counter app where you put the phone on the table, and then you start everybody at their max HP, and then you count down, because the rule is when the game ends, whoever has the most remaining HP left. And like doing the math 10 times in the last round is just, it's just boring. You don't want to do it. But if you can look at the table, you can see the phone, you can see that Viktor has 5 HP, Jonah has 10, I'm at 2. Everybody understands what the game state is. It's easy. It
Yeah,
becomes really fast. So then you don't have to worry
yeah,
about counting 10 times or whatever.
Yeah.
That has been a really good thing to do. It's been a lot more clear, which like it makes it easier, which I think makes it more fun, because then you can do the cool things instead of having to count 200 times.
yeah. I think that's a very strong argument actually, because usually I'm very against counting down. I'm like, in Star Wars we're counting up,
Yeah,
we're counting damage. But since in Twin Suns you care so much about remaining health, so
Mhm.
then it's like, okay, actually keeping track of that is
yeah, and
is great.
especially like when you have someone in with a four space. Like we played a game where one person had a four space, three-person didn't, and like everybody had 20 damage on their base, and they were like, "Oh, we everybody's the same," and like I was sitting there with a four space, like, "No, I'm 2 HP behind you guys,"
Yeah.
and I
Yeah.
needed to say it
No,
like
I think
8, 10 times.
Yeah,
I think for Twin Suns specifically, having different HPs on different bases makes the game state less clear than what you would expect from a Premier uh, kind of game. So I really think that's a good idea to count down and use, like you say, a clear app. If you look at a shout out here. One of the best content creators for Twin Suns would be the Bucketheads, and they always have that app where you can see clearly in different colors what the base damage is, so that they have a big tablet on the middle of the table, so you can see the damage on each base on one's. It's just here's where everyone's at. I think that's for Twin Suns. That's definitely how you should do it.
Yeah, it really helps. One other thing that have been really good are the GameGenic Sentinel tokens. Sure, there are third-party Sentinel tokens too, but I have the GameGenic ones, and like being able to put the Sentinel token on a unit. Sure, a lot of units have the red text box on a unit where it says Sentinel, but there are a lot of conditional Sentinels in the game, and then there are a lot of leaders that you usually don't play in Premiere, like um Ahsoka from Set 5, who gives
Chewy.
Sentinel for a face. Yeah, Shui gives Sentinel for a face. Stuff like that, where you have a conditional Sentinel. Like there are cards that have Sentinel if an opponent is upgraded, or there are cards that is Sentinel if it's undamaged, or if itself is upgraded, or if you
yeah,
have coordinate, or if you played a force unit this turn, or if you attack this turn, or like there's so many different ways to give out Sentinel and have it conditional. So just making sure. So I always bring like my Sentinel tokens, put it on the middle of the table, and as soon as someone has Sentinel, we put a token on. Then you don't have to. Oh, I'm gonna attack you, and then like, no, I have a Sentinel, because they see the Sentinel, because they see the token sitting there. They don't have to read the card. They don't have to think about it. They just see the Sentinel token sitting there, and like all these type of stuff really helps, because again, you want to make a decision. You don't want to have to read all the table. Like you don't have to look. You just like, can I attack Viktor? Oh, there's a Sentinel. Okay. Can I attack Jonah? There is no Sentinel. Okay. I have two decisions. Anywhere Jonah or Viktor Sentinel. Like it's an easy decision, instead of like, oh, I want to attack Viktor and forget about the Sentinel. Stuff like that.
yeah,
Yeah, and I mean in Premiere, I'm often not trying to be clear. I'm not going the extra mile to be clear about things because I do want to tax my opponent's brain capacity. But that is not the game here. I don't want to tax my opponent's brain capacity here because that's, it's going to make the game run less smooth. It's going to be more of the not fun part of people trying to figure things out. It's going to be more downtime. So
Yeah.
here you want to make it the game state as clear as possible for everyone. Like there's no gain in making any obfuscations of anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And then the third thing that I'm pretty adamant about is that when you claim a token, and especially it's become a lot easier when we went to the life counter app instead of having, is that when you take a claim a token, you put it on your base. So like if I claim the initiative, I take the initiative token, put it on top of my base, because again, when people look at my table, they see my base. It's in the middle of my play area. And when they see a token sitting on my base, they know I'm out. I'm not going to do anything else this turn. So it's super easy, and then no one is like, okay, is the initiative claimed or not? Like, I understand why they have the initiative zone like on the bottom of the table. It's really good in Premiere, but in Twin Suns, you want to make it as clear as possible. There's a lot of moving parts, a lot of things that are happening. So claiming the token, putting it on your base has been really good. So what we do is that the blast and the plan goes to the middle. The initiative token sits on your playmat. If I have the initiative at the end of the like regroup phase, I put the initiative token in the middle, but still on my playmat, so everybody can see that I have the initiative for cards and stuff that reference the initiative, but I haven't claimed it. And if I claim it, I move it to my base. And if someone else wants to claim it, if it's on my mat and not on my base, they can claim it. But if stuff like that, so it's been
Yeah.
it's been easy. They don't have to think about, is it, can I claim it or not, stuff like that. So again, it's the same. All of these things are the same thing. A clear game state means that you can put your energy in making a fun decision or a good decision or whatever you want to do. You can play the game instead of having to read and look and figure out and ask people what's happening and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, you taught me that move with the tokens, the initiative and blast and everything that, and I've played it that way ever since. I think that's a super clear way of doing it.
Yeah, yeah, it's been good.
Sounds nice. So, Victor and I both admitted we haven't been building any
Oh,
twin suspects
I
lately.
have,
Oh, you
I
have?
have, the one I talked about.
Okay,
It's
okay, yeah.
it's a constant work in progress. I'm
Okay.
working on it, and I've been playing it for since I think it started out as a 60 card deck just before we moved to 80 cards. I think I built it for maybe this Easter for the GothCon things
Yeah.
we did there, and I've been constantly fiddling with that deck since. Like Twin Suns decks are so much fun fiddling with.
Yeah. Just tweaking and
Mm,
realizing, oh shit, I need that card for another deck. I need to find a replacement.
yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. But do you have any new deck ideas or something you want to highlight, Tobias?
No, I like the two decks I've been enjoying the most that I built at the moment are the deck I'm calling Pain for Power, which is Chancellor Palpatine and Han Solo from Shadows. So, and
Oh,
and it has some, and then I'm playing a green base. It has some really fun interactions where you can, like, there are two cards that are super, like, they are like, if you find one of those cards at like turn one, you're set. Like, it's Batch Brothers and Veteran Fleet Officer. Both of them are
oh
a
yeah.
3 cost 2/1, and both of them create either an X-wing or a clone trooper. So you create a 2/2.
Yeah.
But if you use Han ability, play the card, they take 2 damage, it dies. You leave after your token, a 2/2 token after you. But Chancellor Palpatine just look, if you lost a heroic unit this turn, you can flip Palp. So, and especially if you're late in the turn order, so like it's best if you're like fourth, so you know that someone is gonna blast you. So you play that, you kill everything off. People has to blast because they have played their card and then they have to blast. and then you flip
Yeah.
Palpatine, you heal back up, you draw a card, and you go into turn 2 with one extra card. You still have a unit on board and no damage, even though they blasted you. So like stuff like that. It's I did it. I have a couple of like one cost units that are mostly in there because you can kill them turn 1 and just
Yeah.
flip turn 1. Um,
And how does it work with being on the villainy side?
yeah, so the villainy side lets you play villainy cards, and if you have played a villainy card, you can flip again. But the thing is that because you have the heroic leader next to him, you can always play heroic cards. You're never capped away from playing heroic cards. So there is never a downside on being on the villainy side with Palpatine,
Yeah.
because then you just can play every card. So
So there's no kind of special rule for Palpatine in Twin Suns, just that your other leader has to be heroic.
yeah, heroic, because he is a
Okay.
heroic leader because his front side is a heroic.
Okay.
Um,
Cool.
so that's been a really fun deck. There is a lot of stupid things you can do, and like you're drawing cards, you're healing, you're damaging everybody else, and then you're playing uh, units uh, cheaper. Like there's
Yeah.
so many things you can put next to Chancellor Palpatine that is great. I just
Yeah.
like just the sneaky play of playing Hantu to like
Yeah.
you have a ramp there, on the stick, which is super fun. And then the other deck was the deck I talked about earlier, which I call Jabba's Underworld, which is an Underworld typal deck, double yellow Cad Bane. Like it's mostly a double yellow Cad Bane deck that just happens to have a Jabba there and some bounties. But it's like it is a double yellow Cad Bane deck. That's kind of what the deck
Mm.
is. But then you
Yeah.
have some green stuff just to for fun. Um, so
I just thought would be really fun if you could even like spark of hope the Batch Brothers.
yeah, you can do
You're
that.
on 4 resources. You play your Batch Brothers. They immediately die. You spark of hope them into the resources, and you get Han.
Yep. It's too expensive. That will cost you 4 resources.
Yeah, that
Oh,
Um,
works.
one too much.
yeah,
No, why? Spark of hope is 2 resources.
yeah, but it costs
And
you two
But you
resources to play the
you
Batch
you
Brother.
pay the guy first.
yeah, yeah, but you do it on 4.
Yeah, of
Ah,
course.
okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
you can do.
Yeah,
Uh,
so you go
yeah,
up to 5 and you deploy Han.
yeah,
Mm.
yeah. No, Spark of Hope is a great in that deck. Like you can play it so fast. Um, so yeah, but there's so many fun decks. There's so many fun decks. Like I said, I have a Voltron deck, which is Chirrut and blue. So you have a double blue deck to
Yeah,
play all the healing, and then you play Mando to tap everything out down because you're playing upgrades and tap stuff down.
yeah,
I have a Vader from set 4 with Major Volring and just its space aggro swarm,
nice.
super super mean. I still have my deck from set 1, which is or set 2 technically, but I started in set 1, which is
Cassian Ray.
yeah, exactly. Like it's still, and
Oh
it
yeah,
got way better because yeah, it had
yeah,
like I got like 6 7 cards from this set, which is like that deck is it's so good. I gave it every time
nice,
a new player just wants to learn Twin Suns, I give them that deck and they're like, oh, this is good when they end the game. Like
yeah.
it's a good
And
deck.
it's like so fun to just put experience on stuff.
Yeah. And just today I started a new deck, like my 7th deck, which is it's an interesting deck. I am gonna try Lando from set 4 and
Oh,
Admiral Akbar. Um,
okay.
so and like it's kind of fun because it's thematic. It's like from the Battle of Endor in space,
Yeah,
and you have so you can I've tried to make it as like thematic as possible, but you have a lot of like Endor units on the ground, and then you have
yeah.
like those space units to fly the ships and stuff like that. And then you have
That's
Akbar, and
cool.
it's like it's kind of a delay tactic. So you kind of want to play Sentinels, give them shields with Lando, and then you want to tap
Yeah,
down the opponent's big stuff and saboteur stuff and stuff like that. With Akbar, like sure they get an X-wing, but you don't care about that. And if they don't have anything big, you just get an X-wing yourself to like
yeah,
get to the late game where you can like flip your Lando Sentinel on the ground or space wherever you need him. and stuff like that. So it's still an early process, but yeah,
Cool.
there are so many fun things you can do. Like
Yeah.
there's no, and like we're only 5 sets in. Like
Yeah, it's crazy. I really feel more and more confident the more sets we get that Twin Suns, its importance will kind of grow also. Like to keep players playing the game, especially when sets rotate out, and just
Mhm.
have like this engagement and fun experience with the game that's not only focused on the meta and the competitiveness and all of that, which for now seems like the main driver, right?
yeah,
I mean, I think at least I feel that for me, Twin Suns is a very different experience with the same cards. So for me, it's kind of like I have two games. When I buy a set, a lot of people have been like, it's going to rotate. Is there any point in buying cards from sets that are older and might rotate soon if I need them for a deck? And I don't even think about it like that because I'm definitely sure I'm going to play even cards that have rotated at least in Twin Suns, and it's just like I get these two different games that I can do, and they are very different. They're very different
Yeah,
experiences.
they are. All right,
yeah,
guys. I think we could go on and on and on talk about Twin Suns for a long time, but we need to cover some other stuff before we end the episode. And of course,
I
we've
just want
mentioned.
to shout out
Yeah.
one thing with Twin Sons first. If you are interested in Twin Sons and you have never built a Twin Sons deck, I know, Tobias, you have been sharing a lot of your decks on our server, our Discord server. And also, just recently, Mark from Unlimited Power TCG shared a huge list of cheap, easy to build Twin Sons decks that you can just look at the decks and figure them out for yourself, switch them around as you like, but you will have templates if you've never done this before, which usually doesn't contain any I think none of Mark's decks actually contain any legendaries,
Yeah.
yeah,
so that it's easy to build if you want to try this out. It's all in the Twin Suns deck building threads on our Discord, the
Yeah.
uh, Nordic Takedown
Yeah.
Discord.
That's really, really nice. We should definitely get Mark on the podcast to talk about Twin Suns in the future too,
For
and maybe
sure.
deck building.
He's a great guy.
All right, so we already mentioned Malmö Game Week coming up this weekend in a couple of days when this episode drops. Might be too late to convince you guys to buy tickets, but if we can, that's great. Buy your tickets. But we want to say watch the stream. We will have hopefully great quality streaming on site. Jason will be responsible for day one,
Yeah.
having some guests remotely and maybe some in person. We'll see. And then on day two, we will definitely be more people joining in person on the stream because a lot of us that you've seen in the podcast on the YouTube channel engaged in the Nordic Takedown will be there.
I think almost all of the whole host, all of us hosts are going to be there, and then a lot of the people in the Moose Pack will be there as well. And even I know you, Tobias, won't actually be in Malmö, but you will be joining the cast the first day, right?
yeah. I'm planning on streaming, casting the first 2 rounds.
Yeah, yeah.
Nice.
So there's some way at least to engage with almost all of us.
That's gonna be great. Really, really looking forward to it. It's gonna feel a little bit like an anniversary of some kind because the first the SWO Open kind of kickstarted the streaming and like really the podcasts in some sense. But that's not all. Already next weekend we'll have the Oslo PQ streamed on the YouTube channel. 6th of September. It's going to be at House of Nerds. So their Outland, which is just gotten the PQ, is renting a place to have more space. So
Perfect.
come if you
Yeah,
want to. It's
I'm
gonna be
coming.
great. You are?
Yes.
Nice. I didn't know.
No.
That's exciting.
Yeah, it's gonna be awesome.
Wow. Nice. And then 18th of October, Manotorsk in Skövde is also going to be streamed. And then we want to stream Helsinki. That's still in the works, not confirmed, but stay
Yeah,
tuned for more on that.
we're kind of trying to work it out with the store if it's possible to stream it or not. But I'm hopeful. They have been at least they are interested and they want to make it happen. They're just not sure if they can make it happen.
Yeah. And then last topic of today, as we mentioned a little bit in the beginning, competitive limited. What do you guys think? And how does this work? I haven't looked at it yet.
So I actually did get a pretty good look at it this weekend when we streamed the Chicago PQ, which is a limited PQ. So there are going to be some PQs that are limited only. So the Chicago or Niles, really, but it's just outside. It's a suburb, I think, or some kind of a satellite town to Chicago. That was a PQ that was only limited, and there are going to be a few of those. And it's even going to be one of the sectors in the US is dedicated completely to limited, and the regional qualifier in Bilbao is going to be both. It's going to be a limited tournament on the Friday, moving into with the Top Cut and Draft in the Saturday, and then the Premier regional will start on the Saturday. So if you don't make it to the finals of the limited, you can instead play the Premier. Unfortunately, if you do make it to the limited finals, you can't also play in the Premier format.
That sucks a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
I guess you are getting some points, so you should probably be
Oh,
happy.
the points exactly. The points are going to be the same as if you made the final of the regular RQ,
Yeah.
as far as I could understand from the documents.
All right, so you did the cast, but how does it work? Because I thought draft it has had some competitive play in other card games. So is it just draft or?
No, I know other games have big tournaments with just draft, and I know that Tobias has some experience of that. But we know that FFG has been working to build up a pool of judges and everything that all the kind of resources needed to do bigger things. But where we're at right now, I think it would be to take a bit of water over their heads to try and get into like huge tournaments with draft. And so very wisely, they decided to have the whole Swiss part of the PQ is always going to be limited play. So what you do is you get a
Sealed,
limited
wait.
pool. Sorry, sealed. Sorry, yeah,
Yeah.
sealed. So you get a sealed pool. So you get 6 packs. It's not like in a pre-release where you get 2 extra leaders. You only get the leaders you actually open this time. So you get 6 packs, you open your 6 packs, and then you immediately hand it all over to the opponent sitting opposite to you. And they have a sheet where they just document all the cards in your pool on the sheet, and then they hand it back to you. So the whole process of opening the packs, documenting your opponent's sealed pool, and then building a deck. For all of that, you have 45 minutes to do that. So you need to also, when you build your deck, you need to note exactly what deck you're actually playing, what you built, because you're going to have to start each round with that exact configuration. It's a 30 card minimum deck, but you can have more cards if you like. Then the rest of your sealed pool is your sideboard. You can sideboard as much as you like, and you don't have to follow the rule of the sideboard being the same size afterwards, which means you can go up in size after sideboarding if you like. You don't have to remove cards. As long as you don't go under 30, you're fine.
You can always go over.
Well,
That's,
yeah,
Yeah,
but
you can.
you have to have the same. You have to
No.
have the same size of your sideboard.
Or less in Premiere.
Oh, you can have less. All right.
Yeah.
Well, you can go if you start with the bigger pool, you can go down. As long as it's a 30 card minimum here, you're fine.
Okay.
Anyways, the big thing here is that you can switch leaders and bases, but you have to start every round with the same deck. So the first game in every round is going to be the same deck, and then you can switch leaders and bases and whatever you like in your sealed, as long as you stick to your sealed pool.
Yeah, and the rest of your pool is your side. You can use all of
Exactly.
it.
Exactly. All of it's open. You can use, much like in all limited formats, you can use any common base, even if you didn't open it. So you can always have other common bases. The store should provide it if you
Yeah.
didn't open what
Yeah.
you need.
And it needs to be from that set. So during
It
set
needs to be
5
from that.
limited, you only can use the 4 spaces.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's exactly right.
Okay, so I have a question.
Mm.
Let's say you're playing against an opponent that has a really strong like space aggro deck,
Hmm.
and you realize, okay, my deck can't handle this. But if I totally switch my deck, different leader, different aspects, and
Yeah.
try to counter that, you
For game two.
technically are allowed to do it.
Yeah, game two. Sure.
Yeah,
Go.
but then isn't there like a difficulty in your opponents seeing that you're switching out everything, and then they might be tempted to switch out their deck as well?
Yep. And you only have 3 minutes for sideboarding. So you got to be pretty fast with this. What
Yeah,
we did see, some of the more experienced limited players actually sleeved up basically a second version of the deck immediately in the when they built the deck, they
yeah,
built a second version of it, or they built a completely different deck as well, like a side deck, and they sleeved them all. So it was just
yeah.
ready to go. You could just switch it quite fast in because of
That's smart.
the time limit for sideboarding. So that's pretty slick to do. Um, Once the Swiss rounds are finished and you cut to top eight, you always cut to top eight, no matter the size of the tournament, even if it's 128 players, it's top eight as usual. That's also true for the RQ. So even if they're, I don't know where they're capping this, might be like 500 players, they're going to cut to top eight. No day two, no nothing like that. It's just one top eight, and that's one pod of draft. The top eight is always a draft pod of 8 players. And for this, I think the judges actually look at you open the packs, you do a leader draft, like in a regular draft, and then you draft cards going different rounds, like you pass left, you pass right, you pass left, and then you build a deck, and then you play. And the same rules apply as in Premier now. That the highest seed gets to choose priority. Initiative for the first for the game. So yeah, those are the rules.
And you said the judges note down all of the cards you're drafted.
So I'm not 100% on this one because these things aren't really in the, or at least I didn't find them in the document. These might be things in the judge Discord or something, and I'm
Yeah,
not really following that closely. But as far as I could tell, that's what happened in Chicago. Like
yeah.
they while they were doing the leader draft, the rest of the packs seem to be removed from at least the visual
Mm.
area, and I think though that was the judges going through the packs.
But wouldn't
And
they have to go through them after you've drafted, so they
well,
know
not really.
which player has which pool?
So not really. I mean, they just need to make sure that no one is sneaking cards in, right?
Yeah, but
It's
I mean, it
pretty
would be
easy
a
Yeah.
to
very
follow.
extensive list to
Yeah,
keep
I know that at
24
like
packs.
at bigger events, what they usually do is that they prepare packs prior. So they
Mm,
open. So like when you play in Flesh and Blood, when you play a Pro Tour,
mm,
you get 3 packs that are resealed or like they have a different
mm,
envelope.
Yeah,
So the judges the day before or the week before, whatever, they open the pack and they stamp all the cards with like a stamp on the card, which is like a
mm,
different brand and color or something like that. And then you
mm,
get the pack, you open the pack, and all the cards are stamped. So you can't like
mm,
sneak in your own Devastator or whatever. Like you cannot use, oh, I have a Yaddle. Oh, I open a Yaddle. No, you didn't because it's not stamped with the right color and
yeah.
whatever.
As far as I could tell, that's not what the
No,
procedure here.
at a PQ you don't do that, so that it's too small of a level. But like if you are
Yeah.
go to top 8 in Bilbao, you're probably going to have stamped cards. You might even have it from day one, depending on how high of a level the judges are at. Um,
Yeah,
just so you can't sneak in extra cards.
that makes sense. But at least as far as I could tell, what they were doing, where they removed at least they disappeared from the streamed area,
Yeah.
and I think it was the judges going through as they were drafting the leaders. They were going through the packs to see what cards actually were open, and then they did the draft, and then they played.
Cool. And that's best of three.
Yeah,
So you
yeah,
could
for
swap
both
out with
the
your
Swiss. Yeah,
side.
for both the Swiss and the draft part.
Yeah. Cool, cool, cool. Okay, guys. Seems like we've hit the 1 hour mark, so I'll try to close it there. Any last comments, last thoughts about competitive limited?
I must say that I know that a lot of people are coming from other FFG games and are not used to playing limited. And I understand. I do think it's good that FFG decided to play sealed, especially early on, so we can learn the limited format. But like I know that I said in the past in this podcast that a huge reason why I left Flesh and Blood is because of the limited format. But that is because for me personally, the limited format in that game was not that good. I do think it's really good in SWU, and I do think that if we as a community spend time learning the limited format, we are going to realize that there is as much skill in it as there are in Premiere. Sure, sealed is always going to be more random because you open what you open, but draft is a skill game. Like there are so much skill in draft.
Oh yeah.
Like I can honestly say that even in Flesh and Blood, which is a lot more random than this is, there is still a huge lot of skill. Like you can see the same people draft well every time, and so like and then Sue is it's so much cleaner, so you can really become good at drafting and playing limited. So don't be like, no, I'm not playing limited. Like, okay, sure, you don't have to, at least not at the moment. Um, but I do think that if you spend time learning it, like, don't think that you're gonna be as good at it as you are in Premiere. It's a different game. Like it takes
It's a
Yeah.
different
time.
scale.
Like it's like go back to the first time you ever played a constructed card game and say like, okay, this is the level we're at. Now start to play the game. Like it takes time to learn the game, but I do think it's going to be a really fun going forward to have different formats. Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would be super hyped to play a limited PQ.
For me, the really good selling point here is they're not doing what Flesh and Blood is doing, where they're forcing everyone to do both. They are doing, you can choose. Like you can do a Premier PQ or you can do a Draft PQ. Sorry, Limited PQ. So it's those that are specialists in Limited and Draft can play that game. And those that are specialists in Premier can play that. And for those of us who enjoy both, can do both. But mixing them in the same tournament, that's where I think Flesh and Blood might be on to something that's not my cup of tea, at least.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. But yeah, I do think
Yeah.
that it is worth investing time into learning how to draft, and it is a different skill set, so you need to go back to the drawing board. But I do think it's
100%.
fun.
Yeah.
I'm almost looking forward to spending a weekend drafting before Bilbao and then just traveling down there, just getting 8 people in a room and just drafting for 2 days and just like I still remember us having like we filmed our drafts and then like had the draft on the widescreen talking about the draft after the games and like just breaking down
Cool.
the packs, breaking down the format, like talking about how many cards you needed and stuff like that. Like we had a whiteboard where we wrote everything down and stuff like that. Like we spent a weekend with that, and like sure, I never got good at it, but I know other people got really good at it, and it is a lot of fun. You can still do a lot of things in a competitive environment when it comes to limited formats.
Yeah.
So
100% agree.
So now we don't only have Star Wars Unlimited, we also have Star Wars Limited.
yeah,
And on that note, thanks a lot for joining us tonight, Tobias.
thank you.
Yeah,
It's
great
been
having you.
pleasure. And now again, I get more motivation to build some twin sun stack. Every time we talk about it, I'm like, ooh, I need to go build something.
Yeah,
But
you need one
let's
for
see.
when I come to Oslo. We're playing Twin Sun.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
I mean, I do still have the Ray Cassian that
Yeah.
I
Okay.
built.
Yeah.
That was so fun when the first Twin Suns episode, and I was like, oh yeah, I built the Ray Cassian, and you're like, oh, that was my deck too.
Yeah.
All right. Pleasure having you too, Victor.
Yep, also
And
pleasure.
looking forward to see you this weekend.
Very much so.
All right. Have a good one. See you next episode.
Bye bye.